Okay, so let's do 17 and 18, the ones that have fractions in them. On the instructions, it says it changes to standard form. So standard form, once again, is a capital AX plus capital BY equals capital C. And they're capitalized to help you remember that you don't want fractions or decimals in your standard form equation. So one method is to recognize that this is in point slope form and you don't want these parentheses. Obviously, standard form doesn't have parentheses, so we need to get rid of these parentheses, and one method of getting rid of those parentheses is to distribute the negative half into both terms. Okay, so I'm going to distribute negative half times x. That'll give me a negative 1/2 x, and negative half times negative 4. If you don't know off the top of your head, you could always write it on the side like negative 1/2 times negative 4. You could put the 4 over 1, and you could either cross cancel or just multiply across the top. 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Or you could just simply think negative half times a negative, that's going to be positive, and negative half times 4 is half of 4, which is 2. So that's distributing the negative half. And we also have the y minus 2 that comes down and the equal sign that comes down. Now, because standard form doesn't have any decimals or fractions, we need to get rid of that fraction of negative half. So I'd have to multiply everything by what? 2. So you put a times 2 here, times 2 there, times 2, and even the 2 over here, everything by 2. We're going to get a new equation that says 2y minus 4 equals, the 2's cancel, it becomes a negative 1x, or just negative x, and then plus 4 at the very end. So standard form requires you to have your x's and y's on the left side of the equal sign and the numbers on the right side. So it's up to you if you want to get rid of the minus 4 first, or if you want to move the x over first. It's up to you. So Mark, what do you want to do? You want to get rid of that minus 4, or do you want to get rid of that minus x?
Minus x.
Minus x. Okay, so I want to do the opposite of minus x, minus 1x, which is plus 1x. And plus 1x. Of course, I can't even add it with y, so I'm just going to rewrite the whole thing. It's going to be 1x plus 2y minus 4 equals 4. It's almost in standard form. All I have to do is get rid of that minus 4. So I'm going to go plus 4 here, plus 4 over here, and my new standard form equation is 1x plus 2y equals 8. And that's my standard form equation. My a value is 1. My b value is 2, my c value is 8. What do you think? Let me do the same problem but with a different method. Okay, so what I've done is I've rewritten that exact problem, the original problem. I rewrote it up here, and I'm going to show you a different method. I mean, it's not a different method, it's just a different road to the same place. So if you know that standard form is capital AX plus capital BY equals capital C, that means no fractions, and you have a fraction, you could decide to get rid of the fraction right from the start. So how could I get rid of this negative half right from the start? Multiplying everything by what? By 2. So what I'm going to do is multiply everything by 2. So check this out. The y times 2, the 2 times 2, and the negative half times 2. Now I am not going to multiply the x or the negative 4 by 2. Why not? Because they are inside the parentheses. And when they're inside of the parentheses, whatever I do to the outside of the parentheses, because of distributive property, it's like if I'm doing it to the inside of the parentheses as well. So I do not have to multiply the x by 2 or the 4 by 2. It's kind of like if they were protected by the parentheses, if that makes sense. Does it? Okay, so 2 times y is 2y minus 4 equals, right here the 2's cancel. I end up with a negative 1 left over. And like I said, the inside of the parentheses, nothing happened to them. I don't multiply the inside of the parentheses by 2. So I got rid of the fraction, and now I need to get rid of the parenthesis by distributing negative 1/2. You're going to have negative x plus 4 equals 2y minus 4. So now it's a question of moving the x's to the left side and the numbers to the right. So I am going to move that negative x by doing the opposite, plus x. I'm going to rewrite it. X plus 2y minus 4 equals 4. So my final step here will be to get rid of the minus 4 by moving it to the other side. So you're going to go plus 4 here, plus 4 there. X plus 2y equals 8. Now, as you can see, it's the same exact equation as over here. Over here, I dealt with the fraction by distributing it. Over here, I got rid of the fraction right from the start by multiplying everything by the denominator. It's totally up to you whether you want to distribute the fraction or get rid of the fraction by multiplying everything by the denominator. Okay, so with that in mind, how about you guys pick number 18? Would you like to get rid of the fraction right from the start or distribute the fraction? I mean, if you think about it, distributing the fraction is not bad because 1/3 times x is what? 1/3 x. And what's 1/3 times 3? The 3's cancel and it's just a nice, beautiful 1. So right here, it's not bad. You could distribute the fraction or we could get rid of it, whatever you guys want. You tell me. Distribute? Okay, let's distribute because it's pretty easy to do. So we're going to go 1/3 times x. That's 1/3 x. 1/3 times 3. You can put it 3 over 1, but the bottom line is the 3's cancel and 1 over 1 is still 1, right? And the equal sign comes down, y plus 11 comes down. And now all we need to do is move the numbers to the right and the letter to the left. But let's not forget that we don't want that fraction, right? You don't want fractions in standard form. So there's many different things you could choose to do. Andrea, what would you choose to do first? Get rid of the 11? Sure, why not? Let's go minus 11. Minus 11. And let's rewrite what we have. We have y equals 1/3 x minus 10. Now, what form is this in? This is not the answer, but what form is it in? Y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. And on the test Friday, I could ask you to, hey, turn this point-slope form equation, turn it to slope-intercept, and that would be your answer. But on this section of the homework, they're asking you to write it in standard form, which is capital AX plus capital BY equals capital C. So let's continue to modify this new equation. It's the same equation, it just looks different. It's in slope-intercept form. Let's get rid of the fractions, and let's move the x to the left side. So if I wanted to get rid of that fraction, what do I do? Times by 3. Everything by 3. So 3y equals 3's cancel 1x minus 30. So we almost have it in standard form. All I need to do is get that x term and move it to the other side. So how would I get rid of that 1x? Subtract 1x. And we do to one side, to do to the other side. Now let's rewrite our standard form equation. Negative 1x, positive 3y, equaling negative 30. Now, this is standard form. However, I'll tell you this, our worksheets and our test generator usually, or it does print out the answer or the multiple choice answer with a positive a value, okay? I'll accept this for an open response test, but I'll tell you this, on the worksheet builder, this a value needs to be positive. So what could you do to the entire equation to make the a value positive? Multiply everything by negative 1. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. It's kind of like taking this whole equation and multiplying it by negative 1. And our final answer will be positive 1x minus 3y equals positive 30. So that's our final answer, or the type of final answer you're going to see on the multiple choice final at the end of this month, right before Christmas break.
So every single time I have to multiply by negative 1?
If your a value is not positive on the multiple choice final exam, yeah, you're going to have to multiply everything by negative 1 to make the a value positive. And this last section was changing it to slope-intercept form. I mean, this last section is really easy. Pick a number on, we already did 23 on a previous video. Any other one you want to see? On the last section? Which one? 27? Sure, why not? Okay, so again, in math, there's many roads to the same place. You could choose to deal with the fraction, or you could choose to get rid of the fraction because it's an equation, even though the fraction might come back at you at the end of equation when you're getting in slope-intercept form. So anyways, do you guys want to deal with the fraction or get rid of the fraction? Get rid of the fraction? If you were to deal with it, look how easy it would be. I want to get rid of that minus half. I want to go plus half. That's like owing 50 cents and having 50 cents. You end up even, 0. And what you do to one side, you do to the other side. What is half a chocolate bar plus another half a chocolate bar? That's a full chocolate bar, right? Or what's 50 cents plus another 50 cents? It's $1. So right here, what's 1/2 plus 1/2? 1 whole, right? So in this case, it's smart to just keep going with the fraction. Unless you had like you had a 3/7 right here and a 4/5, then yeah, get rid of fractions, multiplying everything by the LCD. But 1/2, it's easy to deal with. You might as well just deal with it, and you'll have y minus, actually, no, that canceled out. Y equals x plus 1. Y equals x plus 1, that's actually your answer right there. The y came down, the equals came down, the x came down, and 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. And that's it. Now, how about this? For funsies, let's go back and get rid of the fraction just for funsies. Let's say you're bored on Saturday night, you want to do that. Check it out. If you want to get rid of the fraction, you can multiply everything by 2. You'll have 2y minus 1 equals 2x plus 1. And again, slope-intercept form, you got to pay attention to the instructions. It's not standard form, it's slope-intercept on this final section of the homework. So you'd have to go plus 1, plus 1. You'll have 2y equals 2x plus 2. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You don't want a 2y, you just want a regular y. So your final step would be to divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. And your answer would be y equals 1x plus 1. Same exact answer, just done a different way. Like I said, in math, there's many roads to the same place. So, is that good enough of a review of our homework, or do we need more help on this homework? We're good? Okay.